This is part of my ongoing investigation of Stephen A. Smith. Caught him with a photobomb here. The Winston-Salem State website, not the Winston-Salem State Rams basketball X account. It just started in June of 2024. I'm not sure if it's directly connected to Winston-Salem State, if some fan started this or what, but it just strikes me as odd. And you guys know I'm the Sherlock Holmes of the Stephen A. Smith myth. Read his book, exposed to you all the fraudulence there. I think the fraudulence continues. Look at this X account, this tweet that was put out yesterday. I'm going to connect the dots here, what I think, my best speculation of what's going on. Could we put the tweet up too? Do we have the tweet? Because I wanted to read what the tweet said, because that's as important as this picture. Let me find it here. Oh, Brian sent it to me. Here we go. Here we go. I'm sorry for this delay. WSSU Ram Nation is the name of the X account. And the tweet says 1991-92 WSU Rams men's basketball team. Player on the left is Coach Monte Ross. To the right is Stephen A. Smith. Monte Ross, I think, is some kind of HBCU, either head or assistant basketball coach. He's allegedly one of Stephen A. Smith's former teammates at Winston-Salem State. We've seen them together at homecoming events, celebrating. We've seen them together on Instagram. And Monte Ross adds credibility to the fact that Stephen A. Smith was some sort of basketball player at Winston-Salem State. But here's the rub. Stephen A. Smith, according to his own telling of his history, he graduated from Winston-Salem State and wrapped up, I believe, in December of 1991. He walked as a graduate in 1992. He was a member of this according to his own telling, his final year at Winston-Salem State, he was a member of the student newspaper. He was not on the basketball team. According to Stephen A. Smith's telling, he cracked his kneecap in half in 1989 while practicing for Winston-Salem State. He wasn't a member of the 91-92 Winston-Salem State Rams basketball team. Why is this picture of him, allegedly him being on the 91-92 Winston-Salem State team, how is this possible? According to Stephen A. Smith's own telling of his narrative and story, it's not possible. Why would this website, why would this X account put out this picture, zero in, put the picture back up, zero in on Stephen A. Smith and Monte Ross? Why would they do this at this time? As this is my speculation, this is Sherlock Holmes, this is Matlock, this is the Rockford Files, this is Jason Whitlock putting on his investigative hat. Someone in the media looking at Stephen A. Smith draw all of this attention to himself as a presidential candidate. Someone has finally heard my cries and was like, hey, when is someone going to ask Stephen A. Smith about all the lies he's told about his history? Oh, I knocked down 17 straight threes and I got a basketball scholarship on the spot. Oh, I had a tryout in February in New York in 1988 and a former Winston-Salem State player on a playground in 1988, put the picture back up, in 1988, drove me down to Winston-Salem State, and at the end of their regular season, they had a special tryout where I knocked down 17 straight threes and got a scholarship on the spot. Someone is finally asking Stephen A., I believe, like, hey, man, what's going on here? Yeah, I know we've all agreed to hate Whitlock, and I know that we're all in on promoting you and your false narrative of a life. And I know you've been planted and that Bob Iger and Disney are supporting you. But we got to have answers, Stephen A. And so someone in the media, maybe it's at the Washington Post, maybe it's at the New York Times, someone has asked some questions about Stephen A. Smith's background. And as a deflection, it's like Stephen A. is dodging the interview or dodging the questions most likely. And so he and Winston-Salem State, because I believe they're in on this scam, have said, hey, let's put out a tweet, a post on X from this account showing a picture of you allegedly on the basketball team. And now you don't have to answer this question. We can just send them this picture of there you are on one knee next to Monte Ross. They can go ask Monte Ross about playing with you, and Monte Ross will continue the scam of Stephen A. Smith was on the Winston-Salem State basketball team. But these people, the cover-up's always worse than the crime. They can't even get the years straight. If he's on this team in 91, 92, and we have previously, in the previous 900 investigations and segments we've done on Stephen A. Smith, we've done the homework and we know where this picture comes from. It comes from whatever conference they were in, the 1992 postseason conference for Winston-Salem State. It was in that media guide for that postseason conference tournament. This picture was in. And I've said here, I'm not sure if this is AI. I'm not sure if that is actually Stephen A. Smith. Yes, there's a striking resemblance between this man next to Monte Ross and Stephen A. Smith. But even according to Stephen A. Smith's own telling, at the time of the 1992 postseason tournament of the conference that they played in, Stephen A. Smith was working at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution or the Winston-Salem Journal, or Winston-Salem State, or Winston-Salem Journal, whatever. He was already started his media career. He was already graduated from Winston-Salem State. They can't keep their lies straight. The man cracked his knee in half in 1989. He's not on the 92 postseason Winston-Salem State basketball team. Who puts out a picture like this in terms of, hey, for no reason? You go look at this feed, and it's called @WSSU Ram Nation. And again, doesn't have a blue check. This feed may not be officially associated with Winston-Salem State. But who puts out this picture where you zero in on two people instead of the entire team photo, and then you would circle these two people and let people enlarge the photo so they can see who it is you're talking about? You don't zero in on these two guys, put out the picture, and then 91, 92 WSSU Rams men's basketball team, player on the left, Coach Monte Ross to the right, Stephen A. Smith. You don't zero in on them unless you're trying to send a message. Unless there's a specific reason you're posting this. Stephen A. Smith has a fabricated background that no one wants to talk about. And it's mind-blowing. And it's my suspicion, somebody, some media organization has finally said, you know what, we're throwing away our own credibility writing and talking about Stephen A. Smith without addressing the man wants to be president. He keeps talking about and he's no different than George Santos and all these other fraudulent fugazis that we keep pushing into political spaces, and Cat Williams keeps talking about they get planted. You get a compromised, pathological liar with a shady, fabricated background. You install these types of people into public office because you can control them. And this is happening all across the globe, not just here in America. all across the globe. How do you think Zelensky, a comedian, ends up president of Ukraine? Why do you think this Macron over in France, who's married to some old man or old woman, who started banging him when he was 15 years old? How does this happen repeatedly if it's not on purpose and the media doesn't cover it up? And the media just decide, hey, there's things we're going to ignore. How does it make any sense that the highest profile person at ESPN, making $20 million a year, could write a book, a memoir, full of easy to prove fabrications, and not one media outlet say, hey, we need to question this. Let's cover this. This person has been installed by Disney and Bob Iger at the top of the sports media universe, and he has a fabricated, easy to document the fabrication memoir. He's been in interview after interview lying, and no one finds that interesting other than me and this audience. Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.